Hey Emma, got any grandiose plans for this weekend?
I certainly do.
Wow, you sound remarkably serious. What is the master plan?
Staying indoors.
And then what?
That is the entirety of it.
I presumed you were venturing to the seaside, embarking on an excursion, or at the very least stepping out to provide humanity with proof of your continued existence.
Negative. This weekend, I have consciously chosen to momentarily fade into societal oblivion.
Vanish completely?
Precisely. I have instituted an absolute zero doctrine. Zero expeditions, zero social engagements, zero sartorial effort, and above all else, zero cognitive exertion.
Sounds akin to an exclusive 5-star sanctuary package, does it not?
Impeccably stated, and that lavish sanctuary goes by the name of my bedroom.
Any premium amenities offered there?
An ultra plush bed,
Fantastic. What are the complimentary perks?
a supremely warm blanket, and blazing fast Wi-Fi.
10 out of 10. And what might be the most extraordinary feature?
An absolute absence of anyone lingering about inquiring. Got any thrilling plans for the weekend?
Wait, didn't I just ask you that exact question?
Which is precisely why I am contemplating permanently blocking your number.
All right, my sincerest apologies. I hereby withdraw the inquiry. So, what is the precise itinerary for our esteemed VIP guest?
Morning. Slumber.
Afternoon?
Resumed slumber.
And what about the evening?
I might resurrect myself, solely to consume nourishment.
Good heavens, what a meticulously calculated, highly scientific regimen for caloric restoration.
Elevate your vocabulary. I prefer to call it vitality restoration tactics.
Do not cloak sheer laziness in grandiose terminology.
Cease ruining my highly cultivated professional image.
But won't you succumb to sheer boredom being cooped up all day?
Not in the slightest. Look, Alex, I have spent the entire week agonizing over academics, relentlessly chasing deadlines, and enduring endless social interactions. Come the weekend, my brain spots the bed and just wants to scream, "Oh, true love at last."
That is genuinely touching. But to be completely candid, I possess zero desire to venture anywhere either.
Really? Then why were you so enthusiastically proclaiming yesterday that we had to party wildly this weekend?
That is because yesterday was Thursday.
How on earth is that relevant?
On Thursdays, I still possess a fleeting fraction of residual energy to fantasize about a vigorously active weekend.
And what of Friday?
On Fridays, I begin to profoundly second-guess my life choices.
What about Saturday?
Come Saturday, the illusion shatters. I realize I've been living a masquerade, harboring only an insatiable craving to utterly collapse.
And Sunday?
Sunday is the day I lie paralyzed, staring at the clock, my soul consumed by dread because tomorrow is Monday, yet again.
The absolute zenith. You are finally grasping the profound tragedies of human existence.
I used to harbor the illusion that adults were destined to boldly explore the world on weekends.
And your perspective now?
Now, my sole desire for exploration is determining whether the left pillow or the right pillow offers superior softness.
Congratulations on your official ascension into adulthood.
My profound gratitude. It required years of grueling tribulation to ascend to this state of enlightenment. I firmly believe we are ensnared by an invisible tyranny known as mandatory weekend euphoria.
Indubitably, this incessant obligation to venture out, mingle with acquaintances, manufacture glamorous social media check-ins, and curate captions like, "What a spectacularly breathtaking day."
While the grim reality consists of choking amidst a suffocating haze of exhaust fumes, wrestling through chaotic multitudes, and internally pleading, why didn't I just remain in the serene refuge of my home?
Spot on. In the past, I embarked on outings purely out of a paralyzing fear that society would judge my existence as hopelessly mundane. Consequently, upon returning home at twilight, I would be so utterly drained, I lacked the vitality to even converse with myself.
I share that exact sentiment. When friends extend an invitation, I nod instantly because I am utterly devoid of the art of refusal. But the very moment I am meant to cross the threshold, alas, a magnificent cascade of creative excuses erupts.
What sort of excuses? Perhaps I should feign an agonizing stomachache.
Or perchance declare a sudden power outage at my residence.
Or fabricate a tragic tale of dropping my phone.
Now that is bordering on the overly melodramatic.
Yet ultimately, you still surrender and go, do you not?
Yes, regrettably so. But throughout that entire evening, my spirit perpetually gravitates back toward my beloved chamber. The older I grow, the more I comprehend that I require no epic odysseys. I merely crave a boundless sanctuary of silence.
Devoid of forced socialization.
Untethered from frantic rushing.
Merely a soothing cup of tea, a fully charged device.
And an enveloping, heavenly blanket.
I deem that the ultimate soul therapy. I once suffered from crippling FOMO, the agonizing dread of missing out on the revelry.
And now you are severely afflicted with FLB, correct?
What on earth is FLB?
Fear of leaving the bed and absolute terror of parting ways with one's mattress.
Alex, you have just coined a spectacularly relevant psychological syndrome.
The primary symptom involves hearing the wail of the morning alarm, only to feel the bed desperately entwining you, pleading, "Stay with me."
And the prescribed method of treatment?
Muting the alarm, drawing the covers over one's head, and surrendering to slumber. It is an utterly incurable affliction.
But truthfully, it is only within the confines of home that one begins to profoundly relish life's minuscule marvels. Brewing a fragrant cup of coffee, unlatching the window to gaze upon the heavens, immersing oneself in a transcendent melody.
Or simply, doing absolutely nothing. Truthfully, doing nothing is a highly refined art form, considering we have been brutally conditioned to perpetual busyness.
Precisely. Merely sitting still for 5 minutes unleashes a torrent of guilt, a nagging whisper. Am I foolishly squandering my time?
Yet resting is the furthest thing from wastefulness. It is the vital interval in which we replenish our depleted life force.
Undeniably true. Therefore, to finalize our decree, you are genuinely anchoring yourself at home this weekend, right?
Resoundingly so. No retail therapy, no cinematic ventures, no raucous festivities.
My sentiments exactly. We are formally submitting our letters of resignation from adulthood for 2 glorious, uninterrupted days.
Let the rebellion commence this very evening.
Unanimously agreed.
Incidentally, Emma,
What is it now?
would you care to step out for a lovely dinner with me this weekend?
Alex, you have succumbed to amnesia yet again.
It slipped my mind, a momentary lapse. Old habits possess an iron grip, nowhere to go, remaining within these walls 100%.
I shall grant you clemency just this once. Now make your way home and initiate the vanishing protocol.
Emma, I have just unearthed the fundamental root cause of our misery.
Sounds perilously intriguing. What is the cause?
Our profound aversion to weekend excursions is actually the manifestation of severe psychological trauma inflicted by a relentless week of academia.
At long last, your sluggish neural pathways have stumbled upon this revelation.
Wait, you were already privy to this. Since when?
Since Monday.
It required until Friday for me to achieve this epiphany.
That highlights the stark dichotomy between us. I am obliterated from the very dawn of the week, whereas your fatigue operates on a standardized, delayed procedure.
Fascinatingly logical. So, how precisely did your Monday unfold this week?
Utterly atrocious. And yours?
On Monday morning, I marched into class radiating the blazing fervor of a conqueror destined to rewrite their own fate.
Sounds profoundly awe-inspiring. And what followed?
A mere 10 minutes later, that majestic spirit evaporated into the ether without a single trace.
That swiftly and effortlessly?
The moment the professor inscribed the prompt, I fixed my gaze upon the board and plummeted into a profound existential abyss. Who am I? What is this realm? Why am I bound to this earthly torment?
I pondered a question of far greater magnitude.
What could that possibly be?
At what exact hour does this agonizing session conclude?
The absolute zenith of scholarly philosophy. I assure you, I did attempt to marshal every ounce of my concentration.
And the verdict?
I focused with unparalleled intensity, directly upon the agonizing tick of the clock's second hand. With every microscopic shift, I felt as though I had emerged victorious from a grueling battlefield.
Yet, regrettably, the hands of time were not allied with your cause.
It crept forward at an absurdly glacial pace. I ultimately resolved to avert my gaze, hoping my ignorance would command time to fly.
And did this tactic yield fruit?
Magnificently so. I inadvertently plummeted into a deep slumber for an entire hour.
A breathtaking methodology, albeit somewhat detrimental to your academic standing.
This week was a torrential flood of assignments. Countless times, I would pry open my laptop, glare at the unrelenting roster of deadlines, and hallucinate that I was staring down the barrels of a ruthless firing squad.
You still tread an easy path. I, however, am cursed with the affliction of compulsive list-making.
Is that not a remarkably scientific strategy for optimizing workflow?
Absolutely not. I seat myself to meticulously draft a roster of impending tasks. Upon completion, I stare at it, become paralyzed with sheer dread, and subsequently draft an entirely new list merely to mentally fortify myself for tackling the original.
Emma, that transcends mere productivity. That is an avant-garde masterpiece of highly invested procrastination.
I prefer to dub it my tactical preparation for the act of preparation.
I, on the other hand, operate devoid of any tactical finesse.
Oh, I am intimately aware. On Tuesday evening, you dispatched a distress signal inquiring, "Is this manuscript due tonight or the following week?" at precisely 7:57 p.m., when the irreversible deadline was 8 p.m.
Yet I still emerged triumphant, beating the clock, a full 3 minutes to spare.
Are you implying you miraculously authored the assignment in those 3 minutes?
Heavens no, I devoted those precious 3 minutes to fervently praying to the Wi-Fi deities and striking the submit button fueled entirely by blind faith.
The digital matrix processes submissions via cold algorithms, Alex, not by the sheer power of your spiritual convictions.
And what of the core subject in your esteemed major?
Oh, do not even summon that nightmare. Whilst the professor delivered his sermon, I was nodding vigorously, absorbing wisdom like a veritable prodigy.
That sounds overwhelmingly positive, does it not?
The underlying tragedy struck upon my return home. I unclasped my notebook only to discover I was deciphering the cryptic hieroglyphs of an extraterrestrial civilization.
But the penmanship was unmistakably your own.
Exactly. Yet in that bewildering moment, I could not possibly fathom how my own hand was capable of scripting concepts that my brain vehemently rejected.
The story of my academic life. Frequently, I scribble with frantic intensity simply to manufacture the grand illusion of diligent scholarship. A parchment overflowing with ink bestows upon me a profound sense of intellectual superiority.
Right up until the fateful examination unveils the dreaded command, "Please thoroughly elaborate."
And one's inner voice shrieks in sheer panic. Elaborate upon what, exactly? I possess an absolute void of knowledge to elaborate upon.
Immaculate precision. But the most spine-chilling utterance of this entire week was the professor casually declaring, "This concept is quite rudimentary."
Oh dear heavens! That is the universe's ultimate siren, signaling, "Brace yourselves, for you are about to be intellectually pulverized."
Without a doubt, he expounded the theory once. I nodded. He reiterated it. I nodded. By the third iteration, my cervical spine simply surrendered.
Because the fog of confusion had finally lifted?
No, because my neck was gripped by an excruciating, paralyzing cramp.
Then why didn't you summon the courage to demand clarification?
Oh, but I did! I timidly hoisted my hand, pleading, "Professor, could you perhaps demystify that for me?" And he graciously clarified, wielding terminology that was twice as incomprehensible.
A truly holistic and enriching educational odyssey. Frankly, I do not believe we harbor an intrinsic hatred for the pursuit of knowledge.
Then what exactly do we harbor such hatred for?
We abhor the agonizing sensation of being coerced to study at the precise juncture our brains are desperately begging for the mercy of sleep. Like this past Wednesday, I attempted to consume a single page of text on 4 separate occasions.
And did the knowledge eventually permeate your mind? Not a single syllable breached the fortress. However, I must applaud your Herculean persistence.
In professional circles, that maneuver is designated as a tactical retreat.
And what was the exact duration of your grand tactical retreat?
A modest 2 hours, punctuated by a rather expansive afternoon slumber.
You are a bona fide visionary, adept at transmuting sheer sloth into rigorous scientific theory.
I shall graciously accept that accolade, very well, to atone for the disasters of this week. Commencing next Monday, I shall emerge from the ashes as an entirely rejuvenated entity.
To what miraculous degree of rejuvenation?
Rising with the dawn at 6 a.m., pre-digesting all academic materials, conquering assignments 3 full days prior to their doom. The era of last-minute chaos is over.
Your words echo with an eerie familiarity, Alex. You passionately chanted this exact vow last week, and the week prior, you nodded with impeccable, unwavering credibility.
But this time, my resolve is forged in iron. I shall meticulously architect a flawless master schedule.
I beseech you, do not mimic my catastrophic planning habits. If we both embark on planning, we shall squander the entire week aesthetically bedazzling our timetables, only to find ourselves entombed beneath our blankets by the weekend.
Splendid. So for today, shall we officially grant our fatigued neural networks a leave of absence? No lingering thoughts of scholarly tasks.
No agonizing over academic scores.
No descending into panic over looming deadlines.
And an absolute prohibition on any thoughts concerning Monday.
However, dear Emma,
What looming catastrophe now?
my eyes just grazed the calendar. We are burdened with 3 monumental assignments due this Sunday evening.
Alex, you are the undisputed grandmaster of obliterating a serene atmosphere.
I am merely shouldering the burden of anxiety on behalf of us both.
You truly harbor zero comprehension of embracing the fleeting present. Observe me. Let us collectively feign that the forthcoming week simply does not exist.
Very well, I am striving to construct that illusion. But if the impending week spirals catastrophically out of our grasp,
Then what?
shall we reconvene in this exact spot to resume our poetic lamentations?
Unquestionably. At the very least, we are blessed with one extraordinary inherent gift.
What magnificent gift might that be?
The unparalleled ability to transmute crippling academic pressure into a brilliant comedy routine and contorting every conversation into a perfectly justifiable excuse to aggressively procrastinate.
A spectacularly commendable talent of which we should be fiercely proud. We shall deal with the catastrophic fallout next Monday. For now, let us retreat into glorious rest.